Welcome to Decoded Dialogues, where tech talks and stories spark transformation. I'm your host, Crystal Fernandez, and today we're diving deep into the future of enterprise technology, where AI isn't just an add-on, it's built into the very fabric of business systems. Joining me today is Clare Paone, Solutions Architect at Perficient, to unlock how Oracle's AI approach, the Redwood experience, and innovations like AI Agent Studio are reshaping ERP and finance. From real-world use cases to the roadmap ahead, this conversation will decode what's next for organizations embracing intelligent automation. So let's get started. Claire, tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you made your way to Proficient.
Absolutely. Well, I would just want to start off by saying, Crystal, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so excited to be talking about AI and Oracle in the future. My name is Clare Paone. I have worked with Oracle for the past 10 years. I started on EBS and I transitioned to primarily Fusion now. Have to say that transition is wonderful where technology has taken us from EBS to now Fusion. I previously worked at multiple global companies across various industries. Because of that, I was able to be a key contributor during various implementations, stabilizations, and enhancement projects. And I think that is what makes me a very well rounded consultant. I had actually worked with Proficient in the past at a previous organization and really just loved who I was working with, the connection I had with the team. And one day it just felt right to reach out and say, hey, maybe this is my time to see if Proficient would like to have me join their team.
That's fantastic. So, real world, boots on the ground
Yes.
experience. I love that so much. All right. Well, let's kind of dive into this, okay? So, what does an AI first approach mean for organizations today and why is it critical now?
So AI is really the core of when someone says what's an AI first approach mean for an organization, it's the core. That it means that it drives strategy, process development, and even down to the cultural transformation. It's having an organization focus on having their talent be educated and trained on how to use the functionality, enhance functionality, and ultimately make for better engagement with your clients. I would say it's critical now because the technology is here now. It's how we set the foundation for success in the future and how you can differentiate from your industry peers. In my mind, if you're not getting in on the wave right now, you're making it so much harder to get in on the wave later on because the industry is going to be so much more advanced and you're just going to be starting out and that catch up is going to be very challenging. So it's important to start now when we're just getting our feet off the ground and launching into the future.
So, you'll continuously be behind the eight ball if you don't just start that
Absolutely.
plan now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
How has Oracle embedded its AI into its Fusion applications and what makes it built in, not bolted on?
So what's really cool about what Oracle has done is their AI functionality is included in your subscription. It's built right on top of the Fusion application. What does that really mean? It's baked in. There's no integration between other tools or systems. It's all your data and your subscription that is giving you access to all this incredible technology. What does that do? It helps create scalability, creates ease. Security is already built in as well, so there's not worry about guardrails and having information leave your environment. Oracle has really done a fantastic job of also making it cohesive. It's very easy to get it stood up and to utilize because there's no turn on really required. It's part of your standard costs.
So, from your perspective, what are the biggest misconceptions companies have about adopting AI in their enterprise systems now?
That's a really great question. I would say the biggest misconception is when people say, we have this problem, well, AI can fix it. In my mind, the key is thinking about AI is only as powerful as the use case that you build for it. If you're not
Right.
sure exactly what your issue statement is, how can you build a solution for that? In order to drive a powerful solution using AI, you have to have specific use cases defined. And once you have them defined, that can really drive how you can be successful leveraging AI.
Can you explain the Oracle Fusion AI advantage and why it's unique compared to other platforms?
Absolutely. So unlike many competitors, it's using external tools or add-ons that you then have to configure, do maintenance, etc. Versus this is sitting directly right on top of your Fusion application. That means whether you're utilizing HCM, supply chain management, finance, AI is able to be utilized across all of those modules and they can talk to each other. Data never has to leave your environment. It's safe, it's secure, it's actually utilizing the security that you have already enabled in your environment. So there's not additional guardrails required to be defined for that.
Perfect. And then the Redwood experience is mentioned as a major design shift, right? How does it
Yes.
transform user experience and productivity?
What's great is Redwood introduces a simplified and streamlined, consistent look and feel
Mm.
across the board. So instead of having to navigate through multiple clicks in order to get to certain information, the Redwood experience allows the user interface to be much more simplistic, which can create efficiencies through, like I said, less clicks, more user friendly dashboards and just overall consuming information in a more streamlined fashion.
Perfect. And what role does Redwood play in enabling AI features, and what should organizations consider before adopting it?
So Redwood is really the foundation for enabling AI features. Without Redwood, you're not able to utilize the AI functionality. Now, since Redwood is actually enabled on a page by page or per module basis, it would be really important for organizations to consider what will drive the most efficiencies for them, what will be the benefit to them, and really focus in on enabling those modules or pages first and also make sure to do regression testing to verify that enabling this feature, you're getting wonderful AI capabilities, but what other possible hiccups could also come along with that?
So, I've had this conversation with lots of guests this season. We've talked about the AI Agent Studio quite a bit. So,
Mhm.
let's just give a high level rundown. What is the AI Agent Studio? How does it empower businesses to create custom AI agents?
So think of the AI Agent Studio as like the home base of
Hmm.
Oracle AI. It houses all of the pieces that you need in order to build an agent, utilize an agent, launch an agent. It gives you the ability to copy existing templates provided by Oracle through seeded functionality, or even
Hmm.
to build something directly on your own. The AI Agent Studio is the home base for all of that.
So, could you walk us through the concept of agent teams, workflows, tools? How do they work together?
So this is really where I feel like my passion for Oracle AI really comes into play because
Great.
I just find it to be so fascinating how Oracle has set up the AI Agent Studio. So the AI Agent Studio consists of multiple pieces. So an agent team, think of that as a container in which everything is built. Think of it as a playbook for I have this use case, I need to get to this solution. The agent team is what holds all the pieces in order to get to that end result. Part of an agent team actually includes a agent supervisor, and that agent supervisor is actually what dictates, okay, I'm asking this question, I know I need to send the information to this agent that's part of my team, or if I'm looking to get this output, it should actually go to this agent. So your agent team is really almost like a workflow or a playbook for the
Okay.
various pieces within that. So under the agent team, there's the actual agent. Think of an agent as having a specific behavior, capability, or a skill. So you would define an agent to do a specific task, and you would have multiple agents then on your team to do multiple different tasks. And each agent is only as powerful as the tools that you associate with them. So think of a tool as a way to enhance the ability of your agent. And there's multiple different types of tools, whether you're trying to leverage a business object through Oracle BI or a database table or even a deep link tool if you wanted to have a URL be able to be returned to the user that they can simply click on that link and it launches right into the user experience form. All of these things are considered tools in the agent's toolkit. Then tying it all together is the actual topic itself. What's really interesting about what Oracle has done is they saw the future that, you know what, I would like a agent to respond to questions in a certain way or maybe
Mhm.
in a certain format, and that's just my company culture. So what topics can do is it's a reusable instruction that gives the agent the ability to respond in a certain tone, certain formatting, etc., and can be copied and utilized across many different agents, many different agent teams. So you're not building from scratch, which Oracle has done a lot of that, thinking about how you may have multiple different use cases, but a lot of the same tools maybe need to be used, topics, etc. You can simply copy and paste and use across many different instances.
And how do these agents integrate with existing Oracle Fusion applications without compromising security?
So what's really cool about that is it actually utilizes the native user security. So let's say me, Claire, I have access to BU ABC, and you, Crystal, have access to BU DEF. It will give a response tailored to the access that we have. It will only let me see information about ABC and you, DEF. And that's no additional customization required. That comes standard seated out of the box because they're not trying to make security any more complex or need compliance oversight or guardrails or anything like that. It's really trying to utilize what you already have configured and are using today.
So are you saying it's a role-based security, basically?
It can be, yes. So you can actually define specific agents to only be able to be utilized by specific roles
I
or
see.
data access, etc. It's all very customizable, which is wonderful when
Yeah,
you have certain teammates that maybe have access to certain information, but maybe others that should not,
sure.
especially when you're talking about maybe HR related information or
Yeah,
even finance related
yeah.
information, all of that. It's very important to be able to customize that.
What are some practical AI use cases you've seen in finance and possibly procurement that deliver immediate ROI?
So what's really cool about finance is Oracle's really been focused on IDR, their intelligent document recognition. So
Mhm.
specifically for AP, the fact that you can send a image PDF to a mailbox, Oracle will actually scan and read that and actually generate an AP invoice and import it into Oracle that will then go through your standard workflow processes. That to me is really incredible, and they only continue to build upon that logic. And what's happening there with that is it's not just scanning and reading, it's actually learning. You're training that when I see this supplier template type, I know that I want to code this accounting string if it's not associated with a purchase order, or I want it to be assigned to this business unit, etc. Every time you send a new invoice, it's continuing to learn and to only get better with tracking that completion. From a procurement perspective, for example, if you're a buyer, there's amazing agents already out there where you can have what's called a status advisor, where let's say you generated a requisition and you're curious, hey, what's the status of that? Who is it sitting with? Maybe is it approved? Is there some sort of error? You can actually just ask the status agent, hey, what's happening with this requisition? And it'll in real time give you a response instead of having to click through multiple screens, query up that requisition and take a look from that perspective. Similar to AP utilizing IDR for invoicing, if
Mhm.
a buyer, the latest release in 25D that came out is they actually have a supplier quote to requisition functionality. So similarly, you send in your quote, Oracle scans that quote, and it will actually create your requisition for you. So you're no longer having to key in that information. You import the quote, a requisition is created, it routes for approval. It's a much more seamless hands-off approach.
So I know that I don't want to say we're in the infancy of what they can do with ERP. I know it's It's all coming out very new,
Yes,
especially this next year. We hear there's quite a bit coming out. So, how
yes.
is AI transforming ERP? What are we seeing?
So with the latest release, they came out with the AI marketplace. And what's really cool
Mhm.
about that is it gives organizations the opportunity that are partners with Oracle to actually share the agents that they've developed and they created. And what that has done is it's opened the door to ideas for organizations of how can we create efficiencies? How can we automate some manual processes? Items like that, I think that's how AI is transforming, is it's no longer siloed. That AI marketplace really opened the door to allow organizations to work together and share information and overall make processing much more simple.
All right. And for companies starting their AI journey, could you give some examples of which use cases maybe they should prioritize first?
Oh, that's a great question. So I would say that it depends. I would say that if you're utilizing a seated agent, meaning you just want to get something stood up quickly and simply, then I
Yeah.
would say review the seated agents, figure out which is going to give you the best bang for your buck. What is your organization's pain point, and how can this agent really help you? And from there, that would drive your selection of which you would start with. If
Hmm.
you're looking to start with a custom agent, I would say making sure that you have a clearly defined use case, going back to the importance of the use case, and make sure to complete positive and negative testing because AI is very smart, but also you almost have to be smarter when you're testing it to make sure that you're not getting any outcomes that you weren't in anticipating.
Keeping a human in the loop.
Exactly. Yes.
So I think
Yes.
what I've heard quite often from many of our guests and from other, colleagues and people in the industry, what they're stating is that the thing that most companies need to really pay attention to is your data and
Yeah.
your change management. Those two things are vitally important in order
Mhm.
to make an execution like this successful. And
Mhm.
so I would say I personally would say that companies need to really sit down and take a critical view of their data, what's there, what, junk in, junk out, right? So we just want to make sure
That's
that,
yes.
right? You want to make sure that
Yes.
what they're putting in there is what they really want in there because AI is, like you said, very smart, but it's only so smart as what the data that you're feeding it,
You're
right?
providing right, exactly. It's
Yeah.
almost like doing a data cleanup approach should be
Hmm.
part of the scope of your project whenever you are
Yeah.
going to move forward with AI. Because let's face it, a lot of organizations do have old information or old data that came
Right.
from previous systems or implementations or whatever it may be that really shouldn't be part of your AI scope.
Your path
And
forward, right?
exactly, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, exactly that. All right. So then talking about a path forward, what does the future of ERP and finance look like with Oracle's embedded AI capabilities?
Honestly, very exciting. Everything that Oracle has touched upon, it's a lot of reduction in manual effort, but from a finance perspective, it's also a lot of reduction in use of reporting. It's
Mm,
trying to get information to users' fingertips without having so many clicks, so many report submissions,
sure.
timing issues, etc. So, for example, they have announced their payment agent, which is actually looking to optimize cash flow and doing that based off of taking proper discounts, using proper payment methods, evaluating things like that. They've also announced their ledger agent, which is going to be huge. That includes the auto creation of adjustment entries. It's going to monitor prompts that you define to say, hey, instead of running this report to see what this balance looks like, based off of these prompts that I define, if something looks to be awry, I will let you know because that's what it's been taught to do, which will then create efficiencies and no longer having so much time spent spinning wheels trying to review figures, reports, etc.
Love that. And how will AI driven features like intelligent document recognition, like we've talked about, and dynamic
Mhm.
discounting reshape traditional financial operations?
we're going to be moving away from a lot of that manual keying. It's now going to be
Excuse me.
actual data validation and actual time spent analyzing the information that's been generated, no longer all that time being spent keying.
And what role will predictive analytics and anomaly detection play in improving financial accuracy and compliance?
I think it's going to be, well, I know that actually it is tremendous improvement. I am actually working with a client at the moment where we are implementing intelligent document recognition, but specifically the account code combination
Oh, yeah,
defaulting.
yeah. Mm.
And it is huge what it can do. Oracle recommends that you have at least 3 months of data, but the more you have, the better. So after we trained, the machine learning, we found that with 96% accuracy, it's able to default to what the code combination should be for these invoice lines that are not matched to a purchase order. Think about how much time that saves a user. You're simply having to validate that what Oracle believes to be that code combination based off of history, what it's been taught, is the correct combination. And let's say a certain segment value is not, when the user actually goes in and fixes it and saves it, you're training the model even further to say, hey, I actually thought it was A, but it should be B. And that's as simple as what the user would have to do anyway. Meanwhile, the benefit is huge.
Wow, that's so exciting. So, okay. So, how does the AI Agent Studio enable finance teams to automate complex workflows without heavy customization?
So the key to that is the fact that it's low code. It's no longer these crazy SQL statements or customizations that have to be maintained. It's plain English that you or I are speaking in right now, that you're able to simply state what you would like to have happen instead of having it be something that needs to be developed and language learned, etc. Items like
Mhm. So, do we feel like we're going to see less breakage on a go forward?
Yes. And what's amazing is when you're testing the low code that you create these agents using, the
Mhm.
logs actually are able to tell you exactly which step and where it's getting caught up or how it made that decision. And it's much more simplistic to read than some of the other logs that have come out of if you're using a
Sure.
SQL statement or something of that sort. So that's also pretty amazing too, that Oracle has been able to create the functionality to have it be low code and much more easier for users to develop on their own.
We've all seen a fast formula breaks.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to have that in the future. So,
Mm.
can you explain how agent teams and workflows can streamline ERP processes like invoice matching and procurement approvals?
So that also just goes back to no more complex code. There's not really the maintenance required that if you have this job title for this user, let's say, or something much more complex or even hard coded, you no longer have to do things like that because the way in which the workflows are written and the processes for matching, etc., it's much more simplistic.
Okay, so I have another question, but I
Mhm.
wanna just kind of call this out for our listeners. Like we use a lot of acronyms when we're talking in this industry. And so I'm gonna ask you a question, but I want to give a little definition really quickly right after I ask the question, then I'd love to hear the answer. So what
Okay.
makes AI Agent Studio different from traditional RPA and standalone AI tools in terms of scalability and governance? For our listeners, RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. It refers to the use of software bots to automate repetitive, rule based tasks traditionally performed by humans, such as invoice processing, data entry, compliance reporting, and reconciliation. I just want to make sure we call that out because we use these acronyms so often. And I think that sometimes
Mhm.
people don't always know what these all mean, especially RPA, because that is relatively new, right, with AI
Yeah.
and the things that we're doing. And so I just want to make sure that we're, throwing a little education here
Yeah.
too. So back to my question. What makes AI Agent Studio different from traditional RPA
Mhm.
or standalone AI tools in terms of scalability and governance? Oh
So
man, I cannot say that word today.
what makes an Oracle AI Agent Studio different from others
Mm,
is the fact that it is native to your environment. There's no additional integration, no third party tool that you have to configure or continue to maintain.
Mhm.
It is embedded directly in your subscription, your data, and furthermore, these traditional tools of the past were doing very literal items like a recording of if I click on this button, then I drag the information there. It was very, like I said, literal versus AI, you're actually teaching it. It's learning how to do these items. It's learning how to automate. It's learning how to be better. And so therefore, it's not just a simple copy my click, paste it here, it's
Mhm.
continuing to develop, grow, and enhance. Additionally, the fact that the security is really baked into the user that's using that agent also creates such a differentiating factor. You don't have to worry about doing further configurations or even maintaining another system. And where is that data going? Who's touching it? Who can see it? All of that is no longer in scope.
Wow. So what does Oracle's AI roadmap look like then for the next few years? What are we seeing? What are they telling us, particularly in the ERP space?
So I feel like Oracle is really drumming up a lot of excitement and excitement in the best way possible because they're only continuing to give us more information about what they are releasing quarterly, what's to come in new releases. They are organizing conferences for users to be able to get together and discuss what is on the roadmap, what they're doing today, what they look to be doing in the future. So I really see for the future, enhancing the existing agents that are created for supply chain management and for HCM. But then I also see it rolling out bigger and better items for finance when the time comes and they are ready, which they have already started tickling what those agents are going to look like.
Fantastic. And then how do you see agent to agent communication and environment promotion shaping the future of enterprise automation?
So the agent to agent communication is something that I find very exciting because what that means is these complex, maybe it was a multi-issue use case, can now actually be solved in a much more simplistic form. When the AI Agent Studio first came out, Oracle recommended that only 5 agents could be associated with an agent team. But having the ability to have agents communicate with each other, you now open that door to it be endless agents because an agent on team A can now be chatting with an agent on team D, passing that information, and it's not having to rework or add on steps in order to get the workflow there. It's just able to pass information back and forth. So they really open the door to being able to automate even more complex issues in a more simplistic form.
It's amazing.
Additionally, being able to move the agents that you create from one environment to another through import export, it's no longer worrying about, okay, which environment do I have to develop this in because I need to have the right information. Let's say you develop it in environment A, you're able to easily export it and import it again into environment B that maybe has the better information down the road that you're looking to utilize. Instead of having to rebuild, you're able to simply export, save it, and if you have to do a clone, let's say, or something of that sort, you are able to re-import without having to redo all of that work.
Yeah, and I'm super excited about this. If you had to give one piece of advice to organizations that are
Mm,
hesitant about AI adoption, what would that be?
that's a really good question. I would say AI is no longer a complex theory of the future. It's here now, and it's not just usable by organizations with these vast technical teams and developers and resources, it can also be utilized by your small local business. AI is available in many different forms. It's a
Mm.
very broad spectrum of users that are able to utilize it as well. So I would say don't be hesitant, get on board, and you'll only continue to see the efficiencies go up from there.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, AI is not here for our jobs. I think it's here to allow us to do our jobs better and
Better,
to
yeah.
be more creative, right? So I said this on another episode. I think that you have to be agile and you have to be open to change.
Mhm.
And I think that that's really important for our listeners, for business users, for implementers, for people in the industry. I think that just be open to to what to what is available and what's happening. And, obviously do your research,
Absolutely.
but I do think that we've got a great opportunity here to really shape how things look in the future. And if you start now, then you're part of that story, that new journey. So Claire, how can my listeners get a hold of you? Is it okay for them to reach out on LinkedIn to you?
Absolutely, yes. I am on
Okay,
LinkedIn,
perfect.
Clare Paone.
Yeah, perfect. I'll link your LinkedIn in the show notes, and then I'll also put Perficient's web address also in the show notes. So, Claire, thank you so much for joining me today. So that is a wrap of today's episode of Decoded Dialogues. A big thank you to Clare Paone for sharing
Thank you.
insights on Oracle's embedded AI, Redwood's design revolution, and how AI Agent Studio empowers businesses to automate with confidence. If you're ready to transform your ERP and finance operations, now is the time to explore these AI-driven capabilities. Stay tuned for more conversations on where this tech will take us, and until next time, keep decoding the future. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you so much, Crystal. No better time than now, right?
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, folks. Talk to you soon.